Begin with international intrigue surrounding last month's failed coup of the Gambian president. Two men are being detained by U.S. authorities for their alleged part in a plot to overthrow Gambian President Yahya Jammeh. On December the 30th, the U.S. Justice Department says Papa Faal, who holds a dual citizenship, and Cherno Njie were arrested in the United States upon their return from the Gambia. The two are charged with conspiring to violate the U.S. Neutrality Act, which prohibits American citizens or residents from taking up arms or plotting against a nation at peace with America. Well, for more insight on this situation, we're joined live via phone from Georgia by Tamsir Jasseh of the Gambian Association for Peace and Reconciliation. He was a former Deputy Inspector General of Police and Director General of Immigration for the Republic of Gambia. Welcome to Africa 54, Mr. Jasseh.
Thank you.
Yeah, first, initially when President Jammeh said that those behind the coup plot were American citizens and UK citizens, it sounded almost like he was just trying to confuse everybody. Were you surprised that American citizens have been arrested and charged here in the U.S.?
Yes, certainly. Everybody is kind of surprised that these individuals were named as those involved in the attack. However, being citizens of the Gambia as well, they have interest in the Gambia, they have families in the Gambia, and for them to have participated, even though no one knew about these people, it's not from that angle surprising. What would have surprised us is American citizens who have no ties to Gambia. But the fact that they have ties to Gambia comes as no surprise at all.
Yeah, but you're one person who in the past also has been detained on certain charges by the government of the Gambia. But at the same time here, the U.S. is saying there is an act which says that a U.S. citizen shall not participate in such acts. Now, how do you deal with this when you have dual citizenship?
In my case, I'm sure the United States did not at the time have any evidence connecting me with a coup attempt in the Gambia, whereas in this case, it's quite possible. I'm sure the U.S. must have had some evidence showing that there has been a violation of this law, which is probably why the U.S. acted so quickly. That's the only explanation I can come up with on that question.
Yeah. Now, tell me, what do you think is the best approach to changes in the Gambia for those who are in the diaspora and are really, really interested in having a kind of a democratic and peaceful country there?
I think the first thing that we need to do is to get assistance from the international community because, quite frankly, Mr. Jammeh does not entertain any form of opposition. And as such, there is absolutely no way Gambians who wish to participate in the political process but happen to be on the other side of the political divide can freely do so. And they are left with looking for other ways and means in which to bring about a change that may be unconstitutional. In this case, we quite understand that the United States has an obligation to enforce its laws, and we welcome that very much indeed. But we would also like to appeal to the United States to look at the totality of the circumstances under which these things happen and understand that these individuals are law-abiding citizens. They meant well for the Gambia. They have been living in the United States for so long and have become very useful citizens, and that it is the political frustration at home that drove them to this point. Like we said, the U.S. can go ahead and enforce its laws, and we support that, but we also like them to look at the totality of the circumstances and in some way show some kind of mercy to these people.
Now, those who seem a little concerned with what appears to be the U.S. saying, this is a country we are at peace with, by extension, is our friend. How do you feel about that?
Yes, I mean, there's one thing we need to understand, that we Gambians in the diaspora, dissidents, may dislike and disrespect President Jammeh as much as they want. However, that does not change the relationship in which the United States has with the Gambia. The United States has its own national interest. It has its own way of looking at things and working at things. And there is just a certain point to which dissidents in the diaspora can influence that. I think right now the best thing to do is for everybody, including the Gambian government, to stop any form of violence towards any Gambian citizen, and let's try to create an environment in which we can all sit down and talk. We cannot support people coming from other nations with arms into the Gambia to overthrow the government. At the same time, we cannot support the government to keep violating the fundamental rights of the Gambians in the country.
Well, Mr. Jasseh, thank you very much for joining us today. Tamsir Jasseh of the Gambian Association of Peace and Reconciliation.